You are listening to an episode of the Pour Over podcast. God may be writing your story, but the chapters in between can be messy and hard to figure out. This podcast is a place for listeners to be encouraged, built up, and poured into so we can go out and pour into others. We discuss real topics that Christians face in their everyday lives, from foundations of faith to just figuring it out. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get into it. Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Pour Over podcast. My name is Kyla, and if you are new here, I just want to take a moment to welcome you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you found the pod. If you are new, I just want to encourage you, if you end up loving this episode, please press follow, subscribe, add to library on whatever streaming platform you are using, and follow the podcast Instagram. It is at the Pour Over Pod. But I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're tuning in for the first time. This podcast is really just a place for believers to be encouraged and poured into, not only for you to grow and receive, but also so we can take what we discuss and help others grow and pour into them as well. I post episodes every Tuesday, so you will be hearing from me every Tuesday, but I'm so glad you're here. Welcome if you are new. If you are not new to the podcast and you are a loyal member of the Pop Fam, I just want to give a special shout out to you guys. I hope that you guys just absolutely love it here. And I'm so thankful for every single one of you that tunes in week after week. I love this little community that we have. And yeah, I just love getting to hop on the mic every week. It's so fun. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I love being able to just have these conversations with you guys. And I feel like lately I've been hearing from more and more people just more encouragement about the podcast, which is so cool because I mean, I'm not going to lie. I know this is a very niche little podcast, little corner of the internet, but I'm so grateful for every single one of you that is here. And I love just being able to do what I do. It means so much to me. And it's always encouraging when I hear from other people that they loved a specific episode or that they just love the podcast in general. I'm like, oh, yay, that makes me so happy. But I only get to do this because of you guys. So thank you to all of my loyal Pop fam who continues to listen week after week. You guys are the best. I want to take a moment and kind of check in with you guys. How are we doing? How are we feeling, Pop fam? Are we doing well? Are we doing good? How's your week going? I can tell you I am back in the swing of things at work. For those of you that don't know, I am a school secretary at a private K through 8 school. It's a Christian school, which I absolutely love, and it's such a blessing. I genuinely love my job. Like, I really do love my job, which is crazy because honestly, I got moved into a new position and I didn't think that I would like it, but I really do love it. I feel like this position gives me the ability to connect with people so much more, and it just warms my heart so much. It just brings me so much joy. And like, that's my thing. I love connecting with people and just being able to talk to people and reach them and just point them back to Jesus and just reflect the light of Christ. Like, it's just the best feeling in the world to get to do that. But I will say, as much as I love my job, I am tired. I am tired and I feel like I'm already ready for summer break again. But honestly, it was a good summer, not super eventful for me, but it was good. It was chill. It was, no complaints, no complaints, but I'm definitely looking forward to a break whenever that comes. That would be nice. But it's been good so far and I'm tired, but I'm fulfilled. And I think that that is a great place to be, in any area of life. It's okay to be tired, but as long as you're not burnt out, that's the important thing. But I am feeling very fulfilled in a lot of the areas of my life, which is such a blessing. And I'm not going to lie, I know I've talked about this a little bit before on the podcast, but I really entered 2026 with like such a good feeling. And I was like, this is going to be the year, you guys. Like, this is it for me. This is my year. And I kind of said that in the beginning of 2025, but I didn't really mean it. I'm not going to lie. I think I said it just because I had high hopes, but I wasn't really feeling it. And then last year was so hard for me. But this year has been such a blessing in so many ways. And I could literally cry right now with how grateful I am to the Lord and just how He's been so patient and constant and good to me and just blessed me in so many little ways, so many big ways. And I really, coming off of last year, I felt like I needed to get back to me and just kind of rediscover who Kyla is. This whole podcast episode, I promise, is not going to be me going through an identity crisis, but I just want to do a check in with you guys. But I feel like coming into 2026, I really felt like I lost myself a little bit in the last year and I wanted to rediscover myself. But at the same time, I know that who I am now is so different than who I was before when I was really feeling like myself because I'm different. Like I've changed, I've grown, and I'm so different in so many ways. I mean, I look back on even like Kyla at 21 and I'm like I'm just a completely different person, which I'm so grateful for because I've grown and matured and I'm definitely different, but I think in a lot of really good ways. And I really wanted this year to just be a year of refreshment. I feel like I keep hearing the word refreshment and just being refreshed. Like that has just been like a constant word that I feel like the Lord's like speaking to me and speaking over me, especially the past few months. And there's so many ways where that's been so evident and so fulfilled. But I really just wanted to come into this year just being refreshed and feeling alive and like myself again and even figuring out what that looks like. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like I'm getting there. I do feel like I'm getting Kyla back. Like I feel like myself, but like a new version of myself, but a good version of myself. And that's a beautiful place to be. So I don't know about you guys, but honestly, I'm doing okay, which is kind of funny because the topic of today's episode is not exactly meant for someone that's doing okay, but it's all right. We're going to get into it. Today, we are going to be talking about how I find joy even in difficult seasons. As much as this year has been good and definitely better than last year for me, I've definitely had my fair share of ups and downs this year. I will say that. Even lately, I've had a couple of tough times if I'm being honest. And I feel like all of us go through that. All of us go through difficult seasons, and we all have times in our lives when things feel heavy. Maybe you're dealing with a tough situation, or you're struggling financially, or in a relationship, or a friendship, or maybe with work. We know that we have never been promised a worry free life. We're going to have trials. And sometimes these things are really heavy. And when we're carrying these things, it can almost feel like we're being crushed. It can almost feel like just everything is hitting us all at once. And that could be really overwhelming. And when you are overwhelmed with frustration or stress or just worries in general, it can be really hard to keep your head up and to still find joy. And I know I've been there. I know I've had those moments where I'm like, dang, it's just one thing after another. Like, is it ever going to end? And I get it. But I do think that I've been able to move through a lot of these situations while still finding joy. As hard as it can be, I've still been able to find joy and not have that be stolen from me. And so today I'm going to share how I find joy even in difficult seasons. Let's get into it. Okay, I do think something that is super important for us to know going into this conversation is that joy is not the same thing as happiness, right? Happiness is an emotion, joy is more of a heart posture. So you might not always feel happy. You might not always have a big old smile on your face and be skipping everywhere and bouncing off the walls like, I'm just doing great. That's okay. But joy is so much deeper than happiness. It is deeply rooted and it stems from where your heart is at. And the best way to have true, deeply rooted joy is to plant it in Christ. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So when your joy is planted in Him, who never changes, then your joy can be unchanging as well. So, know going into this conversation that joy is not the same thing as being in a good mood. I would say I'm a pretty joyful person. I think most people would also say that about me as well. But I can promise you I'm not always in a good mood. And the funny thing about me is that I feel like from the outside, people would think the complete opposite. They would think like, no, Kyla's always in a good mood. Kyla always has a smile on her face. Well, let me tell you something. Sometimes Kyla has a smile on her face because if she doesn't, she's going to obviously show what is going on internally, and it's not always the time and place for that. So I would say a lot of the times, even when I'm in a bad mood, even if I'm irritated, I just kind of smile and I'm like, all right, just have to get through it. Just grit my teeth and smile and try not to freak out. So I will say, as much as most people would probably say, Kyla's always smiling and she's always in a good mood, I can tell you I'm not. And the people closest to me will back me up on that. And they will tell you, Kyla definitely is not always in a good mood. And I would say, in some ways, I can get a little irritable pretty quick, just depending on the situation. So, definitely not always in a good mood. I can confirm that. But I will say my joy is not rooted in my circumstances. It's rooted in my unchanging and my unfailing God. I think something that really carries me through difficult seasons is having good community. Having good people around you matters so, so, so much for so many reasons. I could literally talk about this forever, but it's really good to have friends that you get along with. But having friends who are there for you, support you, let you lean on them, and speak life into you, oh my gosh, that matters so much. And sometimes it does look like being able to have really deep, open, and honest conversations about what you're dealing with and going through and kind of what you're carrying. But also, it looks like not having to go into everything if you're not ready for that. And just having people around you that genuinely love you for you. That is a huge one. That is a huge one. Your friends should embrace you. They should believe in you. They should make you feel good about yourself. If you aren't leaving time spent with your friends feeling lighter, feeling refreshed, feeling good, then you should probably reevaluate who you're spending time with, right? I mean, it's just so important to have people in your life who believe in you and who love you as you are. I mean, yes, it's good to have people in your life that can call you out, can correct you, can say, like, hey, I don't think this is wise, but your friends should build you up. They should speak life into you. They should encourage you. They should believe in you. They should love you as you are and not be constantly correcting you and constantly trying to change you and constantly criticizing you. Like, you should feel good about yourself when you're with your friends. And that matters so much when you are going through a difficult season. I also think it's so important that you have people around you that will pray for you and pray with you. But being able to send someone a simple text and say, like, hey, I could really use some prayer right now over this topic, and knowing that they are actually going to be praying for you, that is a big deal. I have people in my life that I've reached out to when I'm struggling with something in particular, and all I have to do is send them a simple text that I need prayer. And I can go into it, I cannot go into it, but I know that they have my back. I know that they are going to actually pray for me, that they are actually going to take my situation to the Lord, and they're going to lay it at his feet, and they're going to pray with me about something in particular that I'm really struggling with. I think community matters so much. And this can be a challenge for a lot of us when we tend to kind of self isolate if we're struggling. I mean, listen, guys, I'm just going to be honest. I do that. I do isolate myself a little bit, but I don't know if anyone can relate to this. I don't isolate myself like physically. I'm always around people. Other than my apartment, I literally never have alone time. I'm constantly surrounded by a multitude of people, but I feel like I tend to isolate myself like emotionally and mentally, if that makes sense, where I kind of shut down, and if I'm really struggling with something and it's really heavy, I just kind of like ice myself out from people, which is not good and not healthy, but I am getting better about that. I am being a little bit more open and willing to at least admit that like I'm kinda going through it. I'm getting there. It's listen, it's a learning curve, right? That's why we have this podcast because we're in this together. We're here to have real, honest conversations about the realities of being a Christian and following Jesus. But I know it can be hard to open yourself up and be vulnerable with people when you are struggling, whether it has something to do with them or not. It can be hard just to be like, hey, I'm actually struggling right now. And sometimes it can be difficult because you don't really know who to talk to. But I will say, if you find yourself in that situation, definitely take it to the Lord because every single time I have gone to the Lord and I've said, like, hey, Lord, I am really struggling with this and I need to talk to someone, but I don't know who. He has always pointed me out to the right person, and I end up having a really beautiful, much needed conversation. So I would encourage you to take that to the Lord. But community matters so much. Like I said, it matters for so many reasons, but especially when you are struggling with something, if you're in a difficult season, just putting yourself in proximity to people who love you and encourage you and build you up and pray with you, that matters so much. It's so important. And for me, I'm an extrovert, so I tend to use time spent with good people as a way to be refreshed. So I kind of soak it all up when I spend time with people. So for me, having good community matters a lot. But I think for anybody, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, one way to really find joy in a difficult season is to have good community. I will also say when I'm walking through something difficult and I'm trying to find joy again, sometimes I really just have to take it back to the simple things and ask myself, what is it that brings me joy? What is it that makes my heart feel lighter? And those are things that, I spend more time doing. So for me, some of these things are exercise. I love exercising. I really do. And I don't mean that in like a I'm just so fit and healthy, like pick me sort of way. I genuinely really do love moving and pushing my body to get stronger. It tends to bring me back to all of my years spent dancing when I was spending hours in classes or rehearsals. And I love feeling my body get stronger. I actually don't even mind sweating. Like, I know some people have an issue with sweating. I don't really mind it. I also live in the desert, so I'm like, it is what it is. I'm going to sweat. It's just natural. But I really do love exercising, and it does bring me joy. Sometimes my form of exercise that I'm focusing on changes. Like last year, I had a big Pilates phase. Right now, I'm doing a lot more lifting. For a little bit, I was a huge runner. So it just kind of looks different for me in different phases of my life. But I really do love exercising. I also love reading, and I don't do it nearly enough, but I am working on that slowly but surely. But I love reading fiction, nonfiction. Reading has always been a comfort zone for me. And I used to be when I was a teenager and a preteen, I used to be absolutely obsessed with books, which made me really identify with Rory Gilmore from Gilmore Girls. And I actually started carrying a book with me everywhere I went, just like she did in high school. I know it's so nerdy, but I didn't even care. Like I loved it. And I don't do that anymore. But once I sit down, I can still absolutely get lost in a book. I also love photography. I love taking pictures. Now, I'm not claiming to be a camera whiz. I do not claim to be a professional by any means, but I love the feeling of capturing someone on camera and just seeing them come to life and helping them see their beauty and just having fun with it. Sometimes I will just randomly message my friends and I'll say, hey, I have a really nice camera. I'd love to get some good pictures of you. Do you want to have a photo shoot? And because, we're just girls and who doesn't love having a good picture taken of them, they say yes and we go out and we have so much fun. It's just the best feeling and I love taking cool pictures and videos for my friends just for them to have. I mean, it's just so cool taking those and showing them like, "Hey, you're actually stunning and this is like the way I see you." And they get to see themselves like that. I think we all need that sometimes, I mean, who doesn't love a good picture of themselves? Not even in like a vain way, but just to feel good about yourself. Now, this one might seem a little bit silly, but it does actually work. One thing that brings me true joy is having a good meal with people that I love. Nothing beats that. I mean, truly, there is nothing, and I mean nothing better than sitting down with the people you love and sharing laughs and memories over a good meal with amazing food. That is the best. That always leaves me feeling so refreshed. Another thing I love is spending even just a day at the beach. I am telling you guys, I love the ocean. I love the beach. If mermaids were real, I really think that like I would be one. I'm telling you. My friends and I talk about this all the time. We joke all the time. Like I love the beach. You know that like one TikTok audio that's like touch grass. I don't need to touch grass. I need to touch the sea. I need to be in the water. I need to be near the ocean. Like that's literally me. That audio is literally me. Like even just being in proximity to the beach, I'm like, ugh, I like feel just like a pep in my step. I love it so much. So even spending just a day at the beach can absolutely change me. But sometimes it really is just the simple things that I need to refocus on in order for me to find joy again. And it doesn't have to be, this whole big production. It can literally look like just asking yourself, what are the little things that make my soul feel lighter? And just slowly begin to incorporate those things back into your routine and back into your life. I will say though, I have also learned the beauty and the joy of trying new things. I'm kind of fearless when it comes to trying new things. I mean, as long as I have like somewhat of an idea of what to expect, I'm really kind of down for anything. I will try any food. Like I will put any food in front of me and I will try it. So I tend to be kind of fearless in that sense, but I have really learned to kind of be fearless when it comes to trying new things. And actually, on this note, I want to share a story with you guys. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was having an awful week. I mean, when I say awful, I mean terrible. It was a hard week, it was a bad week. I mean, I was getting hit from every direction possible. Like boom, boom, boom. Like everywhere I turned, every day, it was something new. It was rough. It was rough, you guys. I cried a lot that week and I'm not even a crier. It was just a really bad week. Well, that Saturday, I had plans to go on a hike to San Diego with this group of young adults from my church. Now, for context purposes, let me tell you, I didn't really know any of these people. A few of them I have had like a couple of conversations with. Some of them I don't think I'd ever even met before. But when this group kind of got put together to go on this hike, I really just couldn't say no because I mean, it's San Diego. It's one of my favorite places on earth. And I mean, a hike near the beach, like literally the dream scenario. So I kind of was just like, I'm down. And I said yes before I even really thought about it. I will say I got a little bit anxious the day before we left because I just didn't know what to expect. I mean, I don't really know any of these people. I didn't know if it was going to be awkward, if I was going to be awkward. And when you're traveling with someone, right? Because we had to drive to San Diego, because fortunately I don't live there yet. God willing. But we had to travel and drive there, and I don't know how these people travel. I travel just fine. I think I'm a great traveler, but not everybody's like that. Some people, when they are on a road trip, they have to pee 25 times. Some people get car sick. Some people like music. Some people don't. Some people talk. Some people don't. You never know how people travel. And I feel like you really don't know a person until you travel with them. And I have no idea who half these people are, how they travel, where we're going, honestly. So I kind of just went into it with no expectations and hoping for the best. But let me tell you guys, that was one of the best days probably ever of my entire life. Not only was the hike absolutely beautiful, but it took us right down to the water. And we literally jumped in fully clothed, just going for it, absolutely soaking wet, but having so much fun. We spent like an hour just being in the water, just being in the ocean. It was so fun. And then we ended up hiking back. We went to one of my favorite sushi spots in Pacific Beach, and then we walked from PB to Mission, and I just had so many amazing conversations with different people. And it was so refreshing. And the crazy thing is, I didn't even know how badly I was going to need that trip when I signed up for it. But you know who did? The Lord. God knew the week that I was going to have. He knew how much I was going to need that day and to be around those people and to have those conversations and to just have a lighthearted, fun, carefree day in one of my favorite places on earth. And it just meant so much to me. The conversations and really the trip alone just really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And I really needed it so badly. And it just reminded me of how good our Father really is. But this was something entirely new I was doing, and I'm so glad I decided to do it. You really never know how trying something new can open your eyes and can be exactly what you need. So I encourage you to broaden your horizons, try something new, say yes to that group hangout that you've been hesitant to say yes to. Go to that Bible study or that small group that you've been thinking about joining. Really step out of your comfort zone, especially if you are in a bit of a funk. Try something new. It brought me so much joy, and it can really change your outlook when you are in the middle of something difficult. Another thing that really helps me when I'm going through a difficult season is remembering that it doesn't last forever. Every hard season, every challenge, every painful moment, I have made it through all of it by the grace of God. And whatever situation I'm in, that's not going to be any different. God is faithful and He is not going to leave me there. So I know that as much as it hurts in that moment, it's not going to last forever. Also, just remembering how good He truly is, remembering all the things He's done before, how He's shown up in my life time and time again, all the things He has already done for me, that really encourages me too and reminds me that my situation is not the exception. He's going to carry me through this, and one day I will be able to look back and see how He was good and loving and faithful, even though it's hard at that moment. And that really changes your heart from a posture of worry to a posture of gratitude. So just having hope. And the beautiful thing for us as believers is that even in a situation, even when it looks hopeless, even when it's hard for us to trust and to have that hope, we have a God who never fails and loves us too much to leave us where we're at. So as long as we trust in Him, we will make it through. The last thing that I want to say is this: when you are going through a difficult season, the most important thing you can do to have joy is to lean on Jesus. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, it's a Christian podcast. Of course, she's going to say that. But I'm being so serious. Like, legitimately, He is our rock. He is our refuge. He is our constant. He is our comforter. We have to lean on Him in order to have true, deep, genuine joy. See, I'm getting so passionate. My words are getting twisted. But we have to lean on Jesus in order to have that true, deeply rooted joy. Now, what does it look like to lean on Him? When I say lean on Him, what does that look like? I mean, worship with all your heart, even when your heart feels heavy. Open your Bible and soak in His word, even when it feels hard. And don't ice God out just because you're struggling. He gets it. He truly, really does understand. So press into Him. If you're struggling, take it to Him, leave it at His feet. Talk to Him about it. That is so important. Like I said in the beginning, when your joy is planted in Jesus, that is something that cannot be shaken because He cannot be shaken. So when I'm going through a difficult season, I talk to God so much. I'm surprised He doesn't get sick of hearing me talk, which I'm kind of a yapper anyway. So I know He never gets tired of me. And I know that He listens to me all the time. Thank goodness for His love. And thank goodness that He never gets sick of me. But, for me, there are just so many times when I feel like the Lord is the only one I can go to. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but in certain situations, I'm like, I really don't know who to talk to about this. And you know who I'm going to lean on? You know who I know I can trust? You know who is never going to steer me wrong? You know who is always going to love me and be faithful to me? The Lord, every single time. And so if He is the one where I'm like, I know I can go to Him and Him alone, then I go to Him and I just leave it at His feet. And that is okay. It is so important that if you are in a difficult season, you lean on Him more and more. And remember that God has never failed, never, ever, ever, and He is not going to start with you. So, Pop Fam, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. I hope that it was an encouragement to you, and I hope that you gained some new perspective on how to find joy even in a difficult season. It is possible, and it is possible to have joy even when you're going through it. And that's only possible when your joy is rooted in Jesus. And I don't know, try these things and really just allow your heart to look for the good things and to look for just the little small happy things. I mean, I didn't really talk about this, but I do think another huge part of finding joy, even in a difficult season, is kind of forcing yourself almost to just allow your heart to be glad. I mean, I try my best. It's a struggle, but I try my best when I'm struggling to not walk around and mope and not to sit in my feelings and in my emotions and to let my mind just stir because then I know it's going to be really hard for me to get out of that. But if you are looking for the good things, if you are looking for the things that make you happy, if you are looking for Jesus, if you are looking for the things that bring you joy, then just having that open heart and having gratitude, that's going to change the way that you see your situation. And that is how ultimately you will find joy. But I hope that this was an encouragement to you and maybe some of these things help you and you're able to find joy in your situation that you're navigating and that could speak volumes to other people. I mean, it's true when you are able to kind of hold your head up high and just carry on even if you're in something difficult, that speaks to other people and someone could come up to you and say like, "Hey, I've really been impressed with how you've handled the situation. How have you been able to find joy even though you're dealing with something hard?" And that gives you an opportunity and an open door to talk about Jesus and to talk about your faith and to talk about how he is our constant and he never fails us ever. So, I hope that this encouraged you and I'm so thankful that we were able to have this conversation. I mean, it's just the reality. We're not promised a worry and pain-free life. We are going to have trials and tribulations, but we are able to have joy because of Jesus every day. If you love this episode and you want to hear more like this, please leave a comment, subscribe, follow, or rate the podcast, or even share it with a friend who needs to hear it. This podcast can only grow with your help, and the idea is for more and more people to be encouraged in their faith and to grow and be poured into. So anything you can do helps me, helps the podcast, and it helps point people back to Jesus and grow in their faith. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.